Hello guys and welcome to this video. Today I'm gonna be talking to you. I'm gonna make a little series. Yeah, where I'm gonna react to different videos. And right now I've come across a video, right? Well, the video is actually quite long, but I haven't seen the whole video yet. As soon as you start talking, it's about drinking, and you know how drinks are called spirits, the more intense alcoholic drinks are called spirits because they're more focused and people experimented in the past and knew they become someone else. You know, not they think they become someone else, but it's still you. But because you become someone else, they must think because when you're in your sober state versus your drunk state, they'll be like, this sounds like somebody else. So they understood it as and decided to call it to what they knew spirits. Spirits of like, this is not you speaking. This must be like somebody else speaking or acting or behaving in this way. So,
Something else jumps in. So when you black out, it's not you. It's that entity that jumped
let
into
me
your body.
replay
So
that.
that's why you don't. And a spirit comes in. It's called a coon. And then that's what it is. Your vibration gets so low,
Okay.
something else jumps in. So when you black out, it's not you. It's that
Okay.
entity that jumped into your body. So that's why you don't remember.
Okay.
You went away. That thing jumped in.
Now listen to my.
People black out. Sorry. When people black out, it ain't them no more. It ain't them no more. It's
Okay, let me give you my explanation that I just told myself. Now imagine your left hand is your sober spirit because we're all spiritual beings. Your right hand is the spirit you're drinking. So if it's gin or vodka or Hennessy, that's another spirit. So your left hand is your own spirit, your right hand is the advanced spirit or the external spirit that you can decide to consume. So when you consume it, like I said, right, I said this to myself. So this is your left hand, this is your right hand, this is your spirit in your sober state. So let's say you are happy or like this, basically, dancing around every time. You're slightly a bit low like that. So what happens is this is your spirit. So let's say you're low like that. You are now drinking the spirit. You start to feel a bit more life because they start entwining. So they're separate here. I'm giving you a physical example. Left hand, right hand. You're going to drink. Let's say you're down. Yeah, you're feeling a bit down. You drink the drink, your spirit is going to align with. See, you got an extra number. How many fingers am I holding up now? If you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Because you attained a different spirit. So you see your side is not, the side one is a bit down, other side the fingers a bit down. It's a bit down. So what happens? You start feeling happy because the people around you are motivating you and kind of like saying, get over it, blah, 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 blah. Boom. And you can, depending on how much you drink, continue and work with the mentality and your spirit, your sober spirit, and advanced spirit. You can let it affect you in a positive way by acknowledging how much you drink, by having the people around you that are motivating you and telling you your issues and not letting them just override you. So your left hand spirit, right hand spirit. They come entwine, you got extra hands. So I'm holding 6 fingers now. That's an extra spirit you're holding. That's flying with you. Now, what I said earlier, right, is you have people sometimes where depends. Some people drink when they go out clubbing. Sometimes they're with friends. Sometimes they are doing whatever they are doing, whether it is talking or action, they're doing specific actions, whether dancing or having adult interaction. Basically, your spirit is now, you've got an extra spirit. So when I have an extra spirit now, it can start intertwining like that and become, 10 or like 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 as you see the fingers intertwining. So like I said, let's say hypothetically you're focusing your focus on a specific topic and you're having a debate with someone, for example. Because you're interested in that one debate, see this finger moving? Is interested in that one debate in your spirit, your initial spirit, which is at the background here. Yeah, it has an initial question. And because the spirit you drank, it allows you to think outside the box or allows you to question different things within that. You'll start thinking outside the box. So let's say I'm holding now and the seventh finger. So this finger now is giving you thoughts. Let's say, for example, like I was saying, you start debating with your friend about the flat earth. The flat earth. Now he has a question that says, which is can't be a true or false statement question, because when it's a spirit, you don't know. The spirit is something apparently that dwells in the dark, meaning not physically dwells in the dark. No, it's something that we just cannot comprehend. It's non-materialistic, so it dwells. So now that you have a question and you said, is the earth flat? And you start debating with your friend. And then because your focus is only one topic that you want to focus on, you can focus that energy and that conversation upon one thing. And this is your initial spirit, and this is the advanced spirit that's with you. And it allows you to interact with the same conversation that you're having. Whereas if you, for example, clubbing or you're in an environment where you're more loose and you're not really focused on whatever you're focused on, then what your spirit will do will start jumping around eventually like that. So that's why the next day, for example, when they depart and you start becoming sober again, you are now basically detaching away from that previous spirit you had. But at the same time, if you were like that, a bit down, you either, based on your actions and what you've gone through, can be enhanced and you start going up again and you feel like alive again, or it can become worse, because we alter our spirits on a daily basis, whether sober or not sober. So that's my take on what drinks are. And sure, like I said, if you're feeling down, for example, you have a friend who uplifts you, you can actually start understanding things better, and it will help you. Well, it can happen in a sober state as well. Don't get me wrong. You don't have to drink in order for someone else to tell you. But I'm giving you an example. When drinking, there's an extra spirit that, you know. And this happens with everything. It's not just necessarily drinking. Because when one person meets another person, we are also meeting ourselves, basically, because we also have gone through the same process of existing. So by going through the same process of existing, we have basically attained the same emotions, the same dealing, the same growth, but we do it in a different level form. Some people deal with it more, not deal with it, so some people have it worse than others, because, for example, some people have more difficult interactions in life. Some people have more easier interactions in life. And therefore, sometimes some people's spirit are stronger than others because they can deal with situations better than others. Even when it comes to families, not everyone in the same family has the same spirit. Some, despite, Because again, my perspective is, for example, this left hand, again, I'm giving you an example so you can see. Your left hand is your spirit. Your right hand is your, for example, your father's spirit, your mother's spirit. You have the same spirit, like I said. But again, similarly, when you have a drink, you got an extra finger that lays there. That extra finger that lays there, what it does is the spirit of the opposite. We're the same beings. We go through the same things in life. We experience the same emotions and pains and struggles, but we deal with it differently. This person's struggles might be different to this person's struggles, but they deal with it differently. And yeah, that's my take, basically. Because, for example, the person on the left, let's say, for example, your father or your mother or your brother or your sister, may deal with a situation where they're angry, for example, and they start, for example, calming down instantly because they know it's not worth it. They have studied, they've got wisdom, they've got knowledge, they've got experience in life. They know when it's get angry, it's not worth it, for example, for them to get angry. Sometimes, of course, we do get angry, and it's okay to get angry because sometimes you cannot control it because it's your emotions. But at the same time, those that have experience and are different to the other person, they deal with it differently. And yeah, that's my take on spirits drinks, my reaction. So again, let's have the clip one more time so you can see it.
Wherever there, when you get drunk, and a spirit comes in. It's called a phone, and then that's what it is. Your vibration gets so low, something else jumps in. So when you black out, it's not you; it's that entity that jumped into your body.
And last thing I would like to say, when you come to the blackout stage, you're 100% right. You do become someone else by spirit. Therefore, if your spirit aligns with you, with their spirit, and they say, for example, well, they say, you don't have proof of what they say. It's by actions and your reactions, and your body speaks to you also. Sometimes that's why certain people, when they have 3 or 5 drinks, they start throwing up because their body says, ugh, I cannot do this. Where's this stuff I'm consuming? It's because the initial spirit already has a bad outtake on drinking. It cannot, and then definitely another time when they do consume it. So already the already opinion is, I'm not so keen about drinking, for example. And then when they do drink, so the keen opinion of the initial spirit says, I'm not very keen. And when they do drink, they start throwing up. That's the body talking to them, saying, I don't want this inside my body. That's their spirit. If that happens to you, that means your spirit is just telling you, drinking is not for me. Basically, that's what happens. But some people in the other way, some people are different. They might say drink. I don't see drinking as just a waste of time. You get drunk and you start acting this that and this that, and then start drinking, and they can't handle it. And then they say even on top of that, I'm in control. I want to stop. I'm at 6th drink, or my 7th or 8th drink. I want to stop there. I don't want to have more. If they can't do that and they actually adhere to it, they're in control of your spirit. So, this whole thing of the initial situation of them saying, nah, drinking is not for me, and they went through it, and then they start drinking, and they can cope with the drinking, and they're not throwing up. That means their spirit becomes, again, whole. They have accepted that situation, and the spirit is aligning with it and saying, I can have 6 to 8 drinks without throwing up. But the opposite is no. Drinks is not for me, and he starts drinking and throws up, and boom, the whole spirit goes numb and down. And then when it comes back alive to it and says, ugh, I feel terrible about drinking, like last hour or yesterday, and he comes to a realization, actually drinking is not for me. But then next week he may drink again, and he goes through the same process, and he goes through the same process, and he goes. And again, whether you like drink or not like drinking, you go through the same process sometimes. So you can either, like initially said, drinking, what good does it bring me? If you socialize through it, if it brings you positivity, then sure, go for it. If it does the opposite, then obviously that's when it becomes like any problem, addiction, or where you have to face the issue before you. I mean, I'm not the best person to speak about that, so I cut it there. And therefore, that's my little explanation on what I think drinking is and spirits we're drinking based on that video. Peace out.